Yeah.
Okay.
Action?
Action.
Mark, this is my daughter's idea.
Okay.
She wanted to humanize me because I've been giving lectures my whole life. She said she wants me to have a conversation. So we are getting together today to probably talk over something. She kept insisting, no lectures, no long. And I think she's right. Probably that was a part of the missing in my professional career. I've been just lecturing, and maybe this is something we talk over together. So we begin by saying, Mark, what do you want to talk about, Mark?
So I'm actually wondering if we're going to humanize Master, maybe we talk about something that everyone could relate to and how we each have our own nature that's meant to be our own and we can go with it. But we live in such a noisy world that we see ourselves through the lens of others.
Right.
So how do we undo that? How do we, adapt to that or adapt to ourselves?
I think we are not seeing ourselves from lens of another. That I would challenge. I think we are seeing ourselves, Mark, based on the demand society has placed onto us and how the demand is exploited by others to manipulate us. So when my daughter say humanize, I think that's my essence of my work, to wake up to a human, which somehow it's not allowed, It's like you're almost expected to be. But I'm not saying, Mark, I'm not saying that we should not hold ourselves to behave in a particular way, but it should not be an imprisonment of who we are. Right? Could it be what we are trying to talk about today is our nature and the acceptance of a nature of what we are is probably what we are struggling with in this society. There is an idea of how I should be imposed by the government, by the politician, by the priest. And these ideas, even though they have a relevance to our well-being, but it has become a trap for us not to be ourselves. Like if I extend this a bit, I can be a master, I can be whatever you want to call it, somebody who explored enlightenment, but I'm a person. And I think that's the best part of me, But I'm very surprised that people will be interested in the human part of me. Like if I'm a doctor, they're not interested in the human part of me. They're interested in my skill, understandable. But sometimes in order to live my skill, I must kill my human part. And maybe if I add this, since we are talking about this, I think the human is the one that becomes enlightened. The human is the one that becomes beautiful, not the person the world wants me to be. So, is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, it's, I guess part of my own nature is, and the work I do is kind of about the kind of frivolous things. I sell very expensive furniture by artists, things that nobody really needs to survive. But that's meant to feel wrong by a lot of people because it's not what they think I should be doing with my life. So the acceptance of that probably takes me a lot of time to come to.
You see, there's a very beautiful philosophy behind it. I think we talked about this yesterday. The difference between survival and living. And I think we have opted out to survival. We kill the living. Yes, you are in the world of opulence. You sell a couch that is 200,000. Somebody will say, why would you need a $200,000 couch? You need a couch. No. I have a normal couch because that's all I can afford. But what I want the best in life. This is my argument. If you take communism and capitalism opt out for survival. And they haven't done a good job. They've killed more people have died through that. I'm not saying capitalism is right, but I'm saying what is right about it is it allows me to go beyond just survival. I think the evolution of all animals are, I'm assuming, all animals are created to survive. They're adapted to survive. Only humans are adapted to living, We created dance, we created art, we created culture, we understood love. And there is a movement to deny that. And I think in your field, maybe what I was telling you is, you sell a $200,000 couch and people say, why? I'm saying, why not? Why not? What's your problem? Like somebody says, I want a car. Somebody says, I want a Rolls Royce. I say, why not? Why wouldn't you want Rolls Royce? My argument is this, Mark. Because we took away the demand of the best in life, that is why this word enlightenment has no appeal at all. We took away the best. You see, love is not necessary. Sex is a demand. But without love, sex kills me. It reduces me to the lowest. So, Maybe what you and I are going to talk about today is that, maybe that's what we need to talk. In our own way to justify wanting the more is not wrong, where in the world of survival, is this like you probably live in New York, you have a homeless man outside, and you are selling this mirror worth $50,000 or something, I don't know. It looks immoral. I'm saying, no, your morality is twisted. Your morality is twisted. Almost all humanity are not living only to survive, They are living to live. And I'm not saying $200,000 couch is justifiable, but I'm saying if you make it wrong, you're making wanting something more in life is wrong. The kids are challenging us. My daughter is telling me the human part of you is better than the master part of you. I'm like, really? I'm listening. So could I bring it down to this discussion? Are we struggling to get in touch with our human side? Are we struggling to confess? Are we struggling to confess to the human side, to the side that wants to live gloriously, because we have been taught only by the logic of survival? I go to university to get a job, not to live a fabulous life. So, if you ask me, my stand, I want opulence, because why I'm saying only when opulence and love and beauty and grandness is there, the desire for the ultimate truth that I think I've come to will even be remotely applicable to you. Now, why would somebody want enlightenment? They want water, food, shelter, and that's it. Then the point of living is reduced to survival. I'm saying the point of living is to reach the highest. And for that, I'm willing to risk my survival. So in your profession, I hope you do very well. Because even though $200,000 couch, I don't know whether I'll pay for it. But I'm glad there's somebody paying for it. And it's available if I want it, How would you look at it?
I wonder, since everybody's human nature is a little bit different, and mine happens to be that I live gloriously by living opulent, we can relate it to the fact that enlightenment is also kind of unnecessary for survival.
Bingo.
And that's why people are not interested in it.
Right. No, but you said that all humans are not equal, we are different. I will challenge that statement. I think everybody wants the best. Everybody gravitates. Nobody is going to pick a food that tastes less good than that and choose that. I don't think so. I think we are designed and we are denying it. And I think we have been bullied to deny it. We are bullied. We have been conditioned. Logic has been applied. And I think it's also a bit of a conspiracy theory. I said, well, they want to create workers. They're not interested in creating kings. They want workers. So they have to take your demand of the highest away from you. I think the day we kill love, that I want love is the highest possible, The day we kill it, human being will go extinct. So I think like what you do, thank God you're doing it, for me, at least my perspective.
You mentioned like bullying too, and how we're bullied and kind of suppressed to be part of the masses, so that whoever, it's all about comparison, right? I think people stay in power and stay high by having suppressed people.
Right.
And that bullying applies to like LGBT as well. Maybe in the same way that people suppress the opulence in some human nature, but that's going on a lot of places right now. Like what would you suggest to people going through something now where they feel really bullied and suppressed in that?
No, you must understand the experience of powerlessness in people is overcome by having power over another. They don't even do it for a purpose, It's just the feeling of I have power. So people can't deal with their powerlessness. And that's how bullying begins. And bullying has a purpose, is to reduce you to only my function. So how do you address that? You must be able to stand up and say, I'm not just here to be a waiter. I'm not just here to be your doctor. I am a person. And you have no idea how rebellious that statement is. I will not apologize for the person. Yes, I'll work for you to make a living, but I'm not living for you. I go to my job, I do because I have to feed my family, I have to survive. But I'm not surviving for you, I'm nobody's slave. And if anybody is going through that, you have to have the strength to stand up. And that is a personal journey, like the institute, whatever we do in the study, that's a study, to find that inner strength that you can stand. Because you cannot ask the world. Anything you put up there will used as a tool to control you. The idea is you should not be you. You should only be how I functional for me. I'm going to extinct you. If you are, like we are trying to extinct tigers, because they're not useful. Maybe for the zoos for me to have a look. Other than that, nobody is milking a tiger. Good luck. But we have billions of cows. So we are going towards what is only utility for me. And they're doing that to human beings. So if you are somebody who's saying, no, I'm here, they're going to bully you. So if you are being bullied, something about you is shining, Something about you is frightening them. And in my view, frighten the shit out of them. They are not your keeper. It's like I jokingly will, maybe we don't, like I said, no, the wife takes money from the husband, She doesn't take money to be a wife. Right? It's like, yeah, you work for a living, but you're not living for that. And we are so afraid. Again, we are going into the survival brain, the lower part of our brain. The moment the survival kicks in, we kill off the prefrontal. We kill off our possibility. So now we do this, Mark. What kind of person you need to wake up to be? You cannot be bullied. I think your definition of you must be yours. Like if you take LGBT, you know why? Even though I know very little about it, but I'm saying it's your truth. Doesn't matter what another person's reaction is. Why are you asking my acceptance? You are asking me not to prosecute you, I agree. But why are you asking my acceptance? You tell me. You come out and tell me your truth. That's how they are telling their truth. You tell your truth. So my question to you, I throw a question. The person you need to be in order to live your truth comes at play. How? What kind of person you need to be? You must not be a slave to this society. You must not buy their compliment. You must not buy their applause. You must be very careful and be very aware that I'm being shaped. So I'm asking the question, what is the kind of person I need to be? I love the statement of Osho, and he says, be a rebel. It's almost like everybody has to comply to everybody and to satisfy everybody. Why am I even there? Like I didn't raise my child to be a servant to somebody. It's the last thing I did. No father does that. So, but I leave you with this question, Emma. What is the person you need to be to survive the world we have created? I'm not saying the world is wrong. I'm saying that's a consequence of evolution. But what is the person you need to be that you can survive this world? And that opens up, of me knowing me being grounded in me not being persuaded. I'm okay if I'm ostracized. You know what I mean? Like I always tell, not I always tell, but I will tell an LGBT person, I say, if I don't get it, forgive me. Don't be offended by me. Because I don't understand. You educate me. I don't know. Right? Just because I don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But I leave this question and I'm asking myself this question. What is the person I need to be to survive this goddamn world? When I'm just an employee, I'm just a number. I'm just somebody who complies.
Well, I would like to answer that question, to try at least, because who would I need to be to kind of move past this is probably finding my own happiness inside, which I've never been able to do. And maybe that was conditioning from the bullying. I think everyone goes through bullying at some form, not just LGBT people. But nothing from the outside I don't gain any happiness from anything from the outside. So I don't know if that's from I don't know what that's from, but that's what I think I need to do. Silence, maybe.
One thing pops to me is that they lie to you that you're not alone. I think all these caring people lie to us. They don't tell us the truth we are alone. You're on your own. So we grew up not building that muscle. Sometimes I think all this caring, I love you, groups, cult, whatever. It's nothing but to make you feel not alone, but only when you face your aloneness, not in a bad way, as your freedom. I think you will develop the muscle. So we have created a race that is unable to. I like in Australia, I don't know how accurate my facts are, but when I was there, there's something called walkabout. A child, maybe 14, 15, will just go out on his own. Walk 1, 2 years alone, live in the desert or something. And then suddenly one day he comes back, they say, he has come back a man. The whole idea behind it, when I was talking to them, is that child went and survived its aloneness. It doesn't need anybody's support for it to be itself. So I'm saying, the biggest lie is when people say they care about us, when they cannot care about certain things. And they exploit that weakness about us. You're on your own. Like I'll tell somebody, I said, I can only love you if you can be lovable. It's not even up to me. If you can be loved, I would love you. If you cannot be loved, I cannot love you. Are you kidding me? Which means that we lie, and we lie to our kids, we lie to everybody. Oh my God, I don't want you to be alone. That's the whole marriage nonsense. I always tell Geeta this, I said, the one thing I hate about marriage is I have to lie, I'm not alone. I'm married, you are there with me, I'm there with you. We are not all alone, but we are alone. And I saw that when she was giving birth to the baby, to my daughters. I'm like sitting there, no matter how much I love her, darling, I can't do the pushing for you. You're on your own on this one. But I'm not abandoning. I'm not abandoning. So maybe the question I'm asking you, maybe that's the whole discussion today, to wake up from the lie that in some sense I'm not alone. And I think the fake gurus does it. Everybody does it. Every group does it. It's a kind of a lie. You are not alone. Actually, you are. And you do not have a problem with it if you build the muscle, So maybe the conspiracy theory is, I will never let you develop the ability to be alone. So I'll always make you dependent on me. That's called domestication, isn't it? They say the dog is loyal to me. Is it? Is it because for countless generations I made it depend on me for survival? Then they think, oh my God, my dog loves me. Really? You go to a wild dog and see whether it loves you. It will love its freedom, isn't it?
Everyone's gone through sort of bullying in some form again. And my current challenge is kind of undoing the bullying that I've received, whether it be against like my nature in work or in relationship, and then just kind of starting over fresh. So I'm wondering if there's any like tool maybe, because for example, like I've gone through, a bad breakup, and my business is kind of financially in trouble right now. So all these are high pressure situations, but I've been following the advice of others and kind of ignoring my own take on these things. So yeah, I just wanted to get your kind of opinion.
I think most often what happened, Emma, like how dependent are you on the world for you to be you and to survive? That's the question. And that's a trick, You are made to be dependent. Same thing with drug and drug addiction. You are made to be dependent, then you can't live without it. So the question I ask you, how dependent are you on the world for you to be you, is the question at hand. Survival, we are dependent. So there's nothing much we can do about that. We have to co-live in this world. But to be you, how dependent are you on the world? Would be the question I'll ask you to contemplate. Or you have come to realize, no, I am me despite the world. How would you look upon that?
I've been very dependent, in my life. I've always asked for reassurance from others,
Right.
kind of their opinion to feel accepted. It was all unconscious. I don't think it was being done on purpose.
Right.
So it really took me with the Institute to get into the core of myself and to try to not do that as much,
Right.
or just to find the reassurance without other people. But yeah, definitely dependent.
But that's the direction you need to go. You need to find an independent state. I tell you something about love. Love is when somebody loves me, they let me recognize me and let me own that recognition. It's not they love me because they love me, I'm accepting me. Most often when somebody loves you, they said, I accept you. Then you need the acceptance to be you. I'm saying real love is, I recognize you and I recognize that's your recognition of you. So my question is, what can you do or people do? I'm just throwing the question, what people can do that they can come to that state. In Zen, they call it centered, seated. Like almost Gautam Buddha became enlightened, seated, And I'm quite certain part of that attainment is he was not reflected. I don't need the world for me to be me. Right? Now, maybe what you need to contemplate is it a struggle to do that? Or are we caught in some delusion of the world?
I think we're made to feel accepted, but we aren't really. We're accepted in the vision of others or society or whoever. So I think that is the disorientation, at least for me, where I thought I was accepted or within myself, but I wasn't.
Yep. And can you see when you say that, and there's something kicks inside of you, that I have to stand, I have to own me. If I have a commentary, almost everybody has come, hug me, tell me, love me. They didn't do anything. They just made me dependent on them. And then at the end, I'm looking at them for me, and I remain insecure. So I think what we are talking about is, what can one do that one can be centered and the state of oneself is not dependent on anybody else? In Hindu, there's a beautiful word, some temple, they call it Swayambhu. Swayambhu means self-originated. They say the Shivalinga or the deity just appeared from the ground or something, stone or something. I think we are all Swayambhu. But we have given too much credit to everybody for who we are. And I think we were trained to give up our sovereignty, Like Buddha, if you take Buddha for instance, he became enlightened, independent when everything failed. Everything was over. Nobody could help him. Actually, that moment he came. So I feel like it's an action of Swayambhu. I wake up, this is me, I'm not apologizing, and I take responsibility for me. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was saying I think for most people, including myself, I never had the permission.
Right.
Or the knowledge or the realization, like just by you talking about this now, my body kind of sighed a little bit.
No, but it's very surprising someone like you, who I think is an incredible individual. You are pursuing a career that is not the common. You are outside of the box. And when you say this, I'm looking at you and going like, what? It's like your profession, your taste, your this is, which means to say the strongest among us can fall into this. Now, if I ask you the question to answer, what advice will you give another to get there? What will you say?
Probably the advice that I would give is just kind of accept your own nature. Honestly, I mean, that's the hardest. It's because you're made to think your own nature, the way you are predisposed to be thinking or acting is wrong. But that's what is the catalyst for me to kind of move forward in life, is to believe I'm not wrong.
See, I give you another question. I'm going to use this so people can get value. You do a profession. You have a shop in Soho. You are doing these huge things. You are like, that's owning you, So in very unconsciously, you're actually owning you, but you're still trapped by this world when you're supposed to be leading the way. Maybe my question is, how did you manage to find that honesty? Like someone gay, I'll ask them, how the hell you found the guts to be honest in a world?
Honestly, it was a kind of exhaustion when I wasn't honest that pushed me to just, I guess come out in more than one way, whether it's being gay or the business or something like that. Like I'm somebody who's not comfortable with pleasantries or small talk or faking. So it just really came naturally to be honest, but it's still uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I feel like I shouldn't be that way. Yeah.
But I think the day you said, I couldn't fake it anymore, you got out, right? I think that's the answer for people. I think no one can help them. The day I can't fake it anymore, I lose everything for this. I cannot not be me. I think that was my own journey too, If somebody asks, what made you do? I just could not lie anymore. you don't mean that much to me for me to lie to me. I'm ready to go to war.
Yeah. It's almost as if like at that point something switched where the priority changed. I'd rather lose everything and be honest than just like keep the fake stability that's never really that stable.
So could it be I moved away from simply surviving to living? So are we coming back to that again and again? Am I choosing survival? Am I choosing living? Yeah. You see, in my work, I write books or whatever, my institute. Even though I'm known to teach meditation, people think I'm here to teach humbleness and to quit and to sit quietly. Actually, contrary. I'm saying wake up, dance, be, risk it. And I'm also telling them, I can't help you. This is your journey. I can be a guru. I can guide you. I can talk to you. I can give you many insights and help you along. I can make you feel you're not all alone, but I will not lie to you. This is yours to do. And I think if they fail, you die. Like, I think it's the evolution. We are going to love the best we get, We're not going to love the second best. If that is true, then the survival of the fittest is at play. So I try to bring this, see whether you agree with this, Marc. I'm saying if people are opting out for survival, and in order to opt out for the stability of survival, I give up the best of me. And what I'm saying is terrifying, because I'm saying you give up your survival for the ultimate. Right? If I'm going to use Buddha as a theory, Buddha quit his kingdom where his survival was given for something else, isn't it? And I think the same thing is again used for us to go back into survival.
I mean, don't you think that people stick with survival because it's more predictable than the uncertainty of living the best?
So now are you saying I must survive my uncertainty? Is that the answer? That means I live at that moment. I deal with what is showing up. So could it be the greatest error is I want to escape showing up? I want somebody to sing a lullaby. I think that's what everybody did. Karl Marx, the rest of them. They came up with a theory that sounded like a lullaby. When everybody said, oh, this is going to be perfect, I'm going to be fine. I think maybe what I'm trying to say is, hey, you got to kick in. No matter what the politician says, no matter what he promised, America can be great again, or whatever he promised, America might be great again. I don't know whether you will be.
We see this lullaby and this drive to escape all over the place. This is our goal in society. You go on Instagram and it's all people's vacation, and you think they're living this like very beautiful lullaby, but that's really not it. And I think undoing that is a really hard thing for people.
So could it be, I go back to our theory, what we were talking about today, I think we touched on something beautiful. No? Could it be the lies that are told to us in a very good way? I give you a hug, everything is okay. I used to jokingly tell my students, I want to put a t-shirt, say, I don't need a hug, thank you very much, don't lie to me. Tell me the truth, I'll deal with it. I think we don't tell the truth. Even though that not telling the truth is what it is all about. I'm not saying go out and brutalize somebody, but I'm saying don't deliberately mislead. I tell a story what once happened. No? We have a lot of orphanages here that we do a lot of things. We give stuff and donate and all that. And once the lady told, no, please don't show up, she said. Just send your things. He said, the children, once you show up and you don't show up afterward, he said, it's worst off. You show up, you take photos, you hug them, you kiss them, you make them feel like they're part of your family, and then you don't show up. The child is more traumatized. You rather leave the child alone. At least it accepts its fate and it doesn't know the comparison. So I'm asking this, and could it be, is that what happened to us? And I'm saying the intent behind, is it to domesticate us? So I'm asking, how have you been domesticated?
I think without being domesticated, we wouldn't accept the 9-to-5 life. It's a benefit of a lot of people, I think, to kind of go weekend to weekend, enjoy the vacation, and go right back to the 9-to-5 life. Otherwise, people are too free.
So can I say this? You have a choice. Choose survival or living. Survival, you might have stability. Living, you might have challenges. And I'm saying it's your choice. All I'm doing is I'm not making choice for anybody. Maybe in this conversation, I'm presenting that choice to them. Are you opting out for survival or are you opting out for living? But if you opt out for survival, you have to attack living. So $200,000 couch doesn't work. But if I'm for living, I'm putting my survival on the line. Or is there a way to live in stability? I don't know. But from my view, if you don't risk it all, you don't open yourself up for all. It's as simple as that for me. Even though I'm not a gambler, I'm a very stable person, I think.
How would people know, though, like, what their version of living would be?
They cannot ask anybody. I cannot tell you. And the one who tells you is the one that misleads you. So in some sense, like what Socrates says, think. Think for yourself. And that's why Socrates was poisoned. They are not allowed to think for themselves. You're not allowed. You're supposed to comply to every expectation I have. What, for how many thousand years women were nothing but a expectation of men? Even now, with all the liberation, is still what is expected out of them. And anybody goes out of that expectation, we prosecute them. I always jokingly say, what? Jesus was crucified not because he did anything. He talked about love. He talked about rebellion. He talked about freedom. But maybe this is what I'm saying, Mark. I'm saying I'm not saying anything to anyone in this sense. I'm opening up a conversation and I'm saying, you look at it. My opinion is mine and mine alone. That almost I'm telling, I cannot help you. I cannot guide you. I can open up a space in which you can discover you. What would you say? We have been doing this process for a while, Mark, just for master to know. What do you think you've discovered that you think is going to critically change the person you are and can be?
I've personally discovered that what I'm doing with the business and my brutal honesty is what is natural to me, and that the fact that I always felt wrong doing it, even though subconsciously, like you said, like I did the business in Soho and I'm living and stuff, there was still something holding me back. Yeah. So now I'm not going to be held back anymore.
Yeah. And probably you'll investigate. The work is to investigate what is holding me back. I think tiredness tricks us, Feeling down tricks us, We suddenly think, I need this person, I need this, I need a cup of coffee or something. But let's not speak ill of coffee. But that I think maybe what we are talking about or what Master is bringing about is to go beyond the abuse of our surrounding. How we have been hugged to betray ourselves. And I think that's our enemy is easy, you see them coming. The so-called friends is the one that's difficult. The one that say, I love you is the one that you really have to watch out for. Because you can be saved. Like, you are a rebel. You come on. You are the guy of opulence. You tell me how beautiful things can be and beyond my comprehension or imagination. Maybe that's why this is a relevant conversation with you. Somebody with that centeredness. How? Like, what would you say to people who listen? The part that you think that tipped you off, what will you say?
So I've always actually been a rebel, like even growing up, but I've always made to feel guilty about that part. So really, now that we're talking, it's really the guilt that's screwed me up the most. So as long as I'm not guilty about being the rebel that I am with whatever I'm doing, I think that's what's gonna make me fly.
Maybe we have to question, whenever somebody say, you being you hurt me, we have to question that statement. I think that statement should not be made so easily, Or you being how you are is hurting me. I think we really have to address that question, That's an assault. Because you're saying my being is wrong as I am, I'm hurting you.
Yes.
And let's say you don't want to hurt them. Oh, now you are in a predicament, isn't it? Wow. But I think like maybe this show, I think this show is not to tell you how to think, is to maybe to meet people and start thinking together. I think there's a notion of being like, I'm labeled a guru or a teacher or a master. I think the label is for me to tell you, no, I'm here to open you up to think for yourself. The real guru shows the light, so you see it for yourself. He doesn't tell you what to see, what to decide, because you're so unique. Maybe, and this is the anchoring, could we accept that we are incredibly unique? At the end of the day, nobody can actually tell for certain.
But there's also the validation that gives.
Yeah.
To be okay being unique, that changed me.
Yeah. And nobody can help me. And I think that helplessness is the greatest help, Maybe somebody can give you the tools to get to that space, like diving. If you dive, at the end you're on your own by yourself. The water, but it teaches you how to use the equipment. And we are not creating an independent society. We are creating a dependent society. And I think by that, what you do is absolutely valid, because you're challenging the status quo. And you are doing a good thing, at least as far as I'm concerned. Whether I'll pay $200,000 for a couch, I don't know. If I have, I would. I'm telling you, I might just to irritate people. But I think if we can view ourselves, and not enough people tell us this, Like when you get angry and somebody should say, I'm so glad you got angry. It gave me permission to get angry too. We don't have that. We are parents. We are just telling what everybody in. What I'm saying, they don't matter. I've sat with enough people dying, Mark. At the end of the day. If only somebody held them honest, that would be the only thing that is there, I think.
I think I learned this term the other day called high functioning codependence, where a lot of parents overparent their kids because they think they're protecting them. But it's also high functioning, so they get stuff done. So the result seems good, but the kid grows up anxious, not being able to do anything without struggle. I think this is like a problem at large. It's not just kids, but I think codependence is what we're trained to be.
Yep. So the terminology I would use in the institute is the non-reflected state. I am not based on your reflection. I am, and I am an eternal discovery. I'm discovering myself. And I think, like, this is the Buddhist and the Hindu tradition, all have it, it's the sannyas, the aloneness. But we looked upon aloneness as a wrong thing, We look upon all left up to me is wrong. We don't look upon it as a freedom too, I'm freed. And I'm freed. Could it be the source of our misery that somehow we barter our freedom for survival? That would be a good question to enter. I think if I make a statement from this conversation, for me it appears almost like you're coming out, Maybe we can define what does that mean, For me, the way I look at it is you're stopping apologizing for yourself. And maybe your compassion, your empathy, that you don't want to hurt somebody else. And I think that's the greatest con, Could it be that we have been tricked to feel being us or being who we are is hurting somebody else? And we do not want to hurt somebody else. Could that be what we need to address? That we say somebody becoming honest to who they are, it's not an assault to another,
It's like I was made to believe that being who I am was an assault to everybody.
Right.
That I've always had to apologize, whether it be my opulent kind of taste, or being gay, or in my relationships. So, yeah, I guess this is like another coming out 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't sleep well. It's like I'm anxious all the time. And I think all of that's like built up from the disorientation from believing that I had to apologize for myself.
Which I think is rooted with me being tricked to think being us, we are hurting somebody. Being who we are is hurting somebody. Could we now actually have a conversation on that, Even after this, people should have a conversation about, to re-ask the question, in being me, am I accused of hurting somebody when that is not my intent? So are they saying, I'm asking this, I'm trying to frame this question, being honest to who I am, Is it hurting somebody? I just ran a commentary. Yeah. Even when people want to learn meditation or they come to me, I say, you're not interested in doing this. You're just trying to be the kind of person that will feel okay for another. So don't do this because of that. Even meditation or spirituality or vegetarianism or whatever that is, they are doing it so they are not hurting anybody. And I'm saying that's how they are hurting them. So maybe the real question that we must ask ourselves is, am I hurting somebody being me? But am I hurting somebody? This, I have this theory of the ABC, you are you, I'm me. You let me be me, I let you be you. And is that what this is about?
For me, the ABC always falls apart because I would love to be me and I would love for you to be you. But suddenly the survival kicks in where I don't feel safe being me anymore. I have to make them feel safer, in my perception. So maybe that's also like back to the survival where the reason I'm apologizing for myself is because I want to feel safe and survive.
And actually, we sometimes don't have the language to tell somebody, are you actually attacking me? We don't know how to say it. We don't have that language. If a girl walks in, she wears shorts or whatever she wears, and she must be able to, I feel like you're assaulting me. Why are you doing that? We don't have that language. We feel, I'm apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm making you feel this. I think there is a conversation in the society that we have to set that morality, Because if I feel uncomfortable about you, I turn it and say, you are assaulting me. I'm throwing the responsibility to you when I'm responsible for it. Right? Maybe that is that. We don't have to conclude this discussion, no? Maybe we can live that. Am I assaulting you actually when I'm not? If somebody comes in with a pink hair or something, I don't know. Are you assaulting me? No, you. I might laugh at you. I'm like, wow, I'm a kid with you, but I think that's a question you must answer to you. When I don't intend insult, I am not intending to violate some legacy, like being gay. You are not violating me. You're telling your truth. And I think that person must be assured of that. So could it be, Mark, it's a bit of a therapy session. Could it be I have to be certain of my own intent? I'm coming with love. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm just trying to survive being me. Thank you very much. And please do not be violent.
Yeah.
Please do not be violent. I tell you, one of the best gesture I've ever seen, I must quote this, I saw it in a video once. Dalai Lama was talking, I think, in Australia. And a bunch of reporters were asking him questions. And one guy was asking him very rude question. He got up, he put his hand together, he bowed, and he said, no good karma will come out of this, and he left. I tell you, till today, I admire that, no?
I need to start doing that.
Nothing good is going to come, and he left. So that guy was probing, and I think he was trying to accuse him of something. He just got up and said, thank you. And I was like, wow, what a skill. And I think we are surrounded, I think the word of Paul, so we're surrounded ourselves with drillers. People want to drill into us and wants to make us feel wrong, like being you is wrong and being you are hurting me. And I think parents do it. I think everybody does it. And what I think I'm attacking now is don't label that as love. That's an assault. I think that's a violation. That is, you are doing something wrong. You'd mind your business. Leave that person alone. Like a statement I make to my disciples most often. Say, leave them alone. Let them figure it out. Could it be, Mark, that skill you didn't develop? You were unable to distinguish. Was that an attack? Or was I hurting somebody?
Because it always felt like an attack, probably. And then, what the Dalai Lama did is just walk away. I don't think most people have that muscle for that. They want to defend or they want to convince. But that comes back to apologizing. It's like the more I start trying to defend myself, the more I'm apologizing for myself.
I think because the question didn't answer, I'm asking myself, is my action to hurt you? If it's not, then I'm living my right. And I think that is the only clarity somebody has to come. In being me, if I'm dressing up in a particular way, am I assaulting? Is my intention to assault you? Or is my intention to exert me being me? I think that's the question. And I think if we live that question, I think a lot of sanity will come. Then no matter what people say, I was not trying to hurt anybody. I'm just being me. It's your problem, not my problem. I think if I bring it down to today's discussion, one thing, yeah. In me being me, am I assaulting you? I'll tell you if I'm. But if I'm not, don't accuse me of assaulting you. I'm just being me. And I think if we can introduce that clarity, that question, something magical will happen, That in every action I'm asking, am I violating or am I doing my own thing? And I think if I'm doing my own thing, I must do it grander.
I feel like I've come to both conclusions. So sometimes, am I attacking you? And the answer is no. But on the other hand, it's someone who they claim to be hurting me, and the answer is yes. So then it's like, how do you separate, or do you separate, or how do you not? You know what I mean? It's like, I think that comes into the disorientation that I've been feeling. It's like, when I am hurt, they don't recognize it.
Yep.
Are they being themselves by doing it, or is something else at play?
Right. No, I understand. I think that's not an easy question to answer, but I think that's a question we struggle with. Like, I probably live mindfully. What I'm doing, is it hurting them? Or what I'm doing, are they hurting me? I think in time we'll become clear when we simplify it. But I think we're coming down to so beautiful, no, Mark. We're coming down to real meditation. Meditation is a non-reflective reality, me being me, not lied to. And I think when my system is not lied to, it grows. It's like lifting weights, If I don't lie to my system and I put weight to it, my muscle will grow. The moment I lie to it, now they're saying our high carb food lies to our system that it doesn't have to kick in for survival. That's why we have to fast to trigger an opposite that the body kicks in. Our hormones goes up. So that's the theory behind it. But I think the dilemma, if I conclude this beautifully, if I go into this, I think I have to ask myself this question: am I attacking or not? If I'm clear, I'm clear. But whether the others are attacking me or not, I think I have to find a way to be clear of that too, isn't it? Then I can survive my environment rightfully. Then survival doesn't come into play.
I mean, I guess with the Dalai Lama's whole thing about ejecting himself from the situation, maybe he was being hurt by it and then left.
Something Paul said to me, he said, if I see a driller, he does it so beautiful, I'm out of there. And I think we don't know how to get out.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how to get out of an abusive relationship. We don't know how to get out of a bad conversation. I think the sensitivity, we are so sensitive of so many things nowadays, We know color harmony, we know this, we know that, we know so many things. But how come this sensitivity we didn't develop? That I don't know what is good for me. I don't know when I'm being violated. I don't know when I'm being raped. And I think maybe that is the sensitivity each must take responsibility to cultivate, I think. Like, for what I do, I always say, I am not teaching you. I'm providing a platform for you to learn. I'm not a teacher. I'm a provoker for you to learn. And because now I'm telling them, you're on your own. You have to kick in.
And maybe the question is, again, when you want to leave the situation, you ask, and by leaving the situation, am I hurting the other? And the answer is no.
Yeah, if that's not the intent.
No intent.
If that's not my intent to hurt you. Somebody walks in amazing, beautiful, fabulous. Many people are going to get hurt. But that's not their problem. If a girl dresses up sexy and walks in and somebody gets disturbed, that's not her problem, it's your problem. And I think we have to have that firmness, Like 9 out of 10 rape victims are blamed. No. It's not because how you dress. It's not. No. And I think there should be zero tolerance for that. Zero tolerance, Because somebody, maybe you wanted it. And I think this kind of primitive talk must come to an end. It's almost like nowadays, a woman must behave in a way she will not arouse a man. There are men who get aroused looking at a woman's ankle. She's covered up to the ankle, and because they saw the ankle, he got aroused. I'm like, are you kidding me? And you're going to blame the woman for it? I think if I frame the conversation, Mark, I think this might be helpful to people. It's landing at this conversation, In being me, am I intending to assault somebody? I'm not saying I shouldn't have sensitivity. But I think when I can answer that for myself, and then when something comes, I probably can see it, Or I might see it in time, but I'll see it.
That's the muscle building.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think people have avoided that. We have avoided humanity from growing, Imagine when we are hunter-gatherers, when we're in the forest, and there's no way to survive unfit. I'm sure a bunch of people running around with six-packs like you inside that. So they all will be fitted. And now somehow we have created a world, an unfit person. If you see the chicken they are rearing, it's unfit in the jungle. That's not an animal. That's, I don't know what is it, modified. Because that chicken, that fat chicken who can't even stand on his feet, will not survive the wilderness, and we make it our food. And why? Well, we want to profit out of it. Maybe we leave it with this, Mark. Maybe we leave it with this. Maybe this is where we can leave it. I think I like where we are coming. I think I have to have the discrimination. I have to be able to think, am I hurting somebody? And if me being me, you translate it as hurting, you are wrong. It's none of your business. You don't know how it feels to be me. I'm me. It's very easy to say, my God, you are hurting me. And I start apologizing for who I am. And if I can pay attention to my intent, as I say, love is the answer, they say. If my intent is to love, you say whatever you want. Whatever you want to say, I can withstand the assault. And then I think they come shopping in your place. That's when I want to live gloriously. It's like, I love my wife. What do you think I want to buy her? The most expensive thing possible. I don't know whether I love myself enough to buy me that. Maybe I was not trained to do that. But if I love my wife, my daughters, I want to buy them the most, whatever they want.
The $200,000 sofa.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah.
No, why not? But I'm telling this. That means to say, opulent is not bad. I think what I am trying to tell people is, don't deny that you want the best in life.
That's not hurting anybody.
No. Yeah. No. That is. I think asking us to deny it. Listen, I always say I have opulent disciples. I have disciples who live incredibly, not talk about quitting this and that. Maybe that's the rebellion. Okay?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Good?
Cool.
All right.